All right, hey there. Welcome everybody. I'm Chris Franks with Texas West Capital, and it is man, running just a little bit late here. It's a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Tuesday, the 22nd of February, 2021. And hopefully you guys are doing good out there. We're going to talk a little bit about things that are going on. Mostly we're going to talk about the charts because at the end of the day, guys, the charts are a representation of social mood. Things like war and whatnot always emanate from what's going on in social mood. So all this stuff is usually noticeable in the charts. Even if it's not quite so noticeable at first, it's always in the charts before. And if anybody out there is trying to tell you different, guess what? You're going to have a hard time trading, all right? So we're going to talk about all that. We might talk a little bit about what's going on over there, Russia, Ukraine, again, stuff like that. We'll talk about what's going on with the economy right now. ISM data, I believe it was, that came out today, jumped up from 51 and some change to 56 and some change. So showing a big increase in private businesses and really a good show up of of retail businesses. Again, it just gives that whole that increased output and whatever. Showing that the supply chains are moderating and whatnot, showing just this idea that the Fed's, kind of really, again, still in that corner. It's got to do something. Bullard's still pushing the whole 50 basis points hike. Again, I still think we've got a good chance of seeing that sometime over the next three meetings or so. So, right around summer. But I think there's a real good chance that we get that interest rates are hiked 100 basis points, over these next three meetings, something like that. So, a lot of stuff going on there. Again, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, I think maybe more short-lived than what people want to think about. We did have Russia, saying it was sending peacekeeping troops into some of those areas over there, and of course. Everybody else, all the Western nations saying, it looks more like invasion. So, for its part, Ukraine is stuck together real well. The people have not really shown signs of freaking out or whatever. The government itself is held together. This is just, it's the same old same over there, trying to build a coalition against the U.S. And just trying to retain control over there. You've got NATO everywhere else, and then you've got China pushing back, you've got Russia pushing back. And it's just the way it is, guys. When you got governments, it's just the way it is. We'll see how all that happens, right? I'd say good times, but it's not really. Anyway, who all's here already? We've got Claudio here. Blaze, what's up, man? He says, oil topping. Can't wait to hear thoughts. I don't know. It's still iffy at this point. I've updated the count. We'll take a look at that here today to suggest that we might have a little bit further to go. Potentially up to, again, still looking at $100 range potentially. But we'll take a look at that. Travis, what's going on, man? Hank is checking in here. Nevlusian, Keith, who else is here? HJ is here. 51 ETH. Wazobia Dollars. White R21. Mark. Hyder. Who else is there? Mark. I already said you, Mark. Dana's here. John Smith checking in from H-Town. Yeah, we'll be over there before too long. Still looking to buy a place in that. I guess probably around Woodlands area. Maybe Spring, Tomball, Magnolia, but I really like that Woodlands area. It's pretty nice. Chan D, what's going on? Good to see you. Diego's here. Genghis Khan. Glad to have you back, my friend. Hank says there's something different about me. It's probably because I don't have my hat on. Went with the hair today. Andrew Bennett, what's up, man? Tell you Ryder checking in as well. Man, always good to see you guys. My favorite people always showing up. And then, of course, we've always got new people listening in and whatnot, which, that makes me happy because, I don't make money off doing this. I really don't. Our viewership is small and whatnot, but, I give you that opposition to what pretty much everybody else gives you. I give you that no no emotion kind of look at the markets. I discuss it from a different angle than most people do. And so, hopefully that helps you guys out. There's not a lot of this, oh my God, the sky's falling. And then tomorrow, oh my gosh, the waters are rising. It's just always something, right? So, yeah. Hey there, Matthew Bolts. What's going on, man? I'll check on that, man. I'll check on that. I think you're talking about Bitcoin. Anyway, hey guys, listen, we got the new site up, TexasWestCapital.com. My coder, unfortunately, he came down with COVID, so we don't have everything officially integrated into the new site yet. But we will, if you're already a member or if you join before we do, we'll just migrate you all into there. But we've got we got to code a Discord access bot. So that way when, it keeps track of your access, for paying members and whatnot, with Discord and their appropriate channels and all that. So, you can come in here though, and you can click right here and that'll take you, to howtotradetowin.com to get that site up there if you want to join us. And then of course other stuff going on there. So, but hey, TexasWestCapital.com is now up and running. Man, I've got a few other things we're going to release over the next few months, and I'll tell you guys about, but not today. Got a lot of stuff we're going to do this year, guys. So really glad to have you all checking out with us here. Let me see here. By the way, I am short the euro against the USD right now from 1.13387. We're up about 7 pips at the moment and gaining. So looking for some further downside on all that. So we took that quick rally from what do we get, 1.133359 to 1.13492. So yeah, what was that? Yeah, it was a little bit. It was all right. But again, the larger your position size you're able to have, you don't need a lot of pips to make a decent bit of profit on it. So we took that and then just closed that out and went short with it now. So yeah, it's jumping down there. So we'll see if we can get this. We may talk about the Euro USD because we're going to talk about the dollar as always, and that's kind of like more or less the opposite of it. So yeah. Let me see here. Let me see here. So anyway, hey guys, listen, Bitcoin. Here's where we are. So man, look at that. Lots of bullish divergences coming in here as we were coming down. So we had this bullish divergence here, which led to this bearish divergence there, which led to, again, bullish divergence there, which then kind of normalized. Basically, what I told Discord was, listen, there were a couple of ways to count this area and this area here. And I originally had this maybe as a triangle here for wave 4. So, A, B, C, D, E. And then I was looking at an ending diagonal here a little bit differently than this one. But I changed this to a wave 4 up here to give us a 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got an ending diagonal possibly right here. So what I told Discord was, listen, there's a couple of different ways to count what was going on here and here. So ultimately what we're looking for is a target around the S1 pivot. And then we want to see a breakout above the, the daily pivot, the H1 pivot here. So that's what we're doing. Now, as of this morning, that was last night. As of this morning, again, I've updated it to look like this count here. And so right now, it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. It looks like we've got an A, B working on a C here. So as long as this bottom holds, we're going to look for a breakout above wave 4 resistance right here. That'll hint that maybe the bottom's in there at 39,506.91. Further breakout above the 1 hour pivot here, which is this larger degree wave 4 resistance. That'll be the first real clue that the bottom's likely in. And then we need to see a breakout above wave B up here at 44,775.96 to give us added confidence in the count. So I mean that's what we're looking at, guys. If I'm trading this and I'm not in at the moment, this looks like 4 up. It looks like we're getting 3 down. So I'm looking to enter. If you hadn't yet, I would be looking to enter on a breakout above the swing high here. Let me see, where are we at on the pullback here? We are at, we're nearing 50% over here. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. So that would be wave 4. So usually we look for the pullback. Our first target is that wave 4 support of the lesser degree. So that's where we're coming up. That's usually around the 50% area. Continues going down. 61A is the next target there at 37,082. So you kind of zoom in here a little bit. Actually, looks like I'm going to go down a little bit lower there. It looks like at the 15-minute we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5 here. So we'll probably get like 5 down here, rally up toward this 15-minute pivot, get rejected, and head back down here a little bit further. Let me see. That could potentially get us a move down here to all this cluster of activity right here around the 78.6 retracement, 36,750. But yeah, so right now I'm looking for a breakout above here. If we get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 up, and then 5 more down, then that 3 up, the top of that rally, is where I'd look to enter. And then, of course, head on up. Let me see here. Worst case scenario, if this is bullish and it goes to 78.6, that would give us, see, I don't really like that because that gives us a 3 that breaks out above the pivot, 4 that pulls back below the pivot, 5 that breaks up back, and then we'll pull back again. It doesn't do really well there. Let me see here. I wonder if maybe we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's an A and a B and a C here. Because if we can do this right around this demand structure right here, that'll give us a 3 up here around 40,667 or so. Pull us back to the daily pivot, and then up here at least at 41,440 or so for that wave 5 coming off that. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking to do, is buy that breakout above that swing high going up. If we break down below the swing low here, that's it. We'll have to readjust the count and everything. But we'll see here. So yeah, this ending diagonal here looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down. So I just got to do it up a little bit more there. Like that. So that's kind of what we're looking at. If that's legit and going on there, as you can see, the 15-minute is down and oversold here, which is what we like to see. We've got some bullish divergence or hidden bullish divergence coming up over here. So we'd love to see that rally. If that might be 3 down there. Or I guess possibly, nah. I was going to say possibly maybe we've got a flat correction here with an A, a B, and a C, but no, I don't think so. I think it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an ending diagonal. Looks pretty clear as 5 up to me, but you definitely need to don't always assume that it has to be. That's why you have your invalidation and validation levels. So definitely looking for a breakout above that top there to kind of say, okay, yeah, we're heading up on that. Let me zoom out here a bit more. 4 hour. All right, let me put this back on a different time frame here. Get this off this other stuff. Let me put up the 1 hour there. There we go. Again, bullish divergence happening down there. You can see, again, all this volume picking up down here at the low. Right down there. So, again, as we've come down, volumes drop down until we get to the low here, and all of a sudden we have consistent high volume. That's usually an indication that a bottom's been found. It's retesting this 3-month-long resistance as support. S1 pivot on the 4 and 1 hour. So a lot of things going in on that suggest maybe that might be the bottom there, but definitely want to see that continuing up. Let me get rid of that. I don't even know why we got that at the moment. All right. So if that's the case and we've got a 1, 2 here, I think I've got that 3 set correctly. That'll give us a minimum expected wave 3 target up here of, right up there around 57,287. You'll also notice that's right around the pattern target off that 3-month channel. It's right up there, about $200 below that. So as I often remind you guys, wave 3s are usually the pattern targets when you're breaking out of channels. Wave 3 is often the pattern target. So, again, another reason for potential confluence in that area as far as we're doing that. Daily, bottomed out and oversold, curling back up, crossing bullishly. And then, of course, we have right here. I think we got a slightly higher low there. Whoops. I mean, you got all these other stuff for everybody, but let's see. We've got a low right here of 35. We've got a low right here of 35.08. So slightly higher low. And in this area, yeah, we also have a higher low here. So yeah, no divergence of any kind there. But that 1 hour looks, or that daily Stochh RSI looks like it wants to go, but we'll see. You know, it can stay oversold or overbought for an extended period of time. But let me see here. So yes, that's kind of what we're looking at. You know, big picture here. If you're looking at this, you want to see a breakout above the daily pivot. You want to see that come as impulsive. So you want to see it have large candle spread and large spike of volume as it breaks out above that area. And that'll be a good first hint that the bottom may be in there. And then, of course, you want to see it breaking out of, you know, again, this would be A, B, C here. So this is wave B. Right there around 44,775.96. You want to see a breakout above that. But, you know, again, just playing on pivots here. You get that impulsive breakout above that daily pivot. Then you just want to see it take out this swing high right below the R1 pivot. And if you can do that, that should be indication that we're heading up. Your next target, of course, is going to be this swing high right here, 52,100. That happens to also be that wave X resistance that once we break above that, that'll add confidence to this larger count here, this 1, 2 here potentially. Now, the other thought is that we've got the triangle going. And so in that case, you know, we would have A at the top and B down at the bottom. We'd be looking for C on the move up. Or probably, I was talking to Discord about this, probably more likely a WXY, but, you know, at the moment, it really doesn't matter. I'm not looking for the interior, you know, makeup. I'm just looking for it being a 3-wave up. But yeah, so, you know, we would look for that wave D and then 3 down for E and then that breakout of that triangle. So still got a lot of that going on there. Again, looks a lot like reaccumulation or accumulation in this area here. Again, you know, as you get over here, you have this high spike of volume down here near the bottom. And then you've got, as you get this pullback here, you got volume kind of coming down, and then you got volume building up again right down here at that support area. So that was the same thing I talked about in the smaller time frame. What you want to see after a decline is you want to see that volume picking up down there at the bottom, and you know, price kind of becoming smaller candles, smaller candle spreads, more volume. That shows you that demand is starting to really give supply a hard time. It doesn't guarantee it's going to turn up, but usually that's the result. If not temporarily, you know, at least. So, yeah. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys, see what kind of comments you have here. That Bitcoin swing high is just below the monthly open as well, which seems to have had some significance last couple of days. Yeah. Yeah, so also if we look at this, I've got some other things marked on here. I've got this green one right here, 46,211 or so. That is, kind of move all this out of the way here. That's, as you can see here, yearly open. And then the red line right above it at 46,692.73 is that daily R1 pivot. So, you know, pushing out above this area impulsively would be very bullish. So, you know, again, you push up to it, it's you know, significant resistance. So you're going to pull back. You find your area of support, which is all this build up here, this base here, and then you look for a, you know, a renewed rally to break on out through that. Let me see something here. Don't want to mess up that other chart. That's what I'm using for everybody over there in Discord, so I don't want to mess that up. But let's see here. If we throw a pitchfork on here, more or less right about there. Let's see. That could maybe get kind of interesting. Let me see if that bottom is in. We do pull that out there. Yeah, this will give you this breakout up here. Wave 3 will take you to this this outside resistance of the pitchfork here. Wave 5 should break you out probably. So good setup potentially for that there. So interesting look at it. Let me see here. ARM, what's going on? Devin's checking in as well. Good to see you guys. Let's see here. Andrew's asking on the Bitcoin on the 1 hour, do you see 38.1 as what we need to break? Let me look at what you're talking about here. Let's see here, 38.1. I'm going to throw this line in here, see where that's at. Rather than trying to eyeball it. This right here. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, we need to get up there. Because this looks like that may be, again, as I was counting it earlier, a 1 and then a 2. Pulling back about 50% so far. So, yeah, if you're breaking out, I wouldn't say 38.1. I'd say, definitely the swing high here at 38.357. Locally, though, if this is an A and a B, I don't know, and maybe this gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an any diagonal or something, that wave B up there at 38.259 and 71 would be where I'd look to get that move out. Just to be honest, with Elliott wave, just to be honest with yourself with Elliott wave, you look for that breakout above what would be wave B. Now, the other possibility, again, as I said, is this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll get 3 up and then we'll get 5 down. So if this is 3 up, this would be wave B, and wherever that tops out would actually be where I'd look to enter, the breakout above that. So we just have to see if this is the bottom or if we get 3 up and then drop down for 5 more. Then it'd be that one. So, yeah. Let me see here. Let me see. I'm far too bullish. Twitter feed indicates Bitcoin is going to 37,000 like oil did. It's possible. 37,000, right? So that's right here, right? Let's see here. Let's see. Hank says, meanwhile, in the real world, Russia has said it will support the territorial claims of the proxy states in East Ukraine. Of course they will. Of course they will. Yeah, good times over there, right? Not really. Such a mess. In other news, Russia said that it's sending peacekeeping troops. I don't think anybody really believes that, but, that's what they do, right? Let me see here. Let me see. Can anyone DM Putin? What's up, Oscar? Good to see you checking in, man. Oh, Ace and Rich, you meant no, negative 37. Oh, my bad. Yeah. No. We're not doing that, right? But as far as oil and gas goes, lots of things going into it, guys. Again, I want you to understand that news events are knee-jerk reactions, okay? If you've been with me, even follow me on just on the live streams for the last few years, you'll have seen that. We've talked about it over and over again. There's a trend. News events cause a knee-jerk reaction, but the trend continues, right? Sometimes people get lucky when they go, oh, look, it was that caused that, and it happens to be at a point where price was reversing. But if you're taking Elliott wave into consideration, you were already looking to reverse there anyway. Again, news events and price action happen concurrently all day, every day, guys. We only choose to pick out some every once in a while, that seem to all of a sudden show up for us. But again, if you haven't purchased that Socioeconomic Theory of Finance, STOF book, man, I would definitely suggest that you guys do. It's a great read. And if you haven't been doing this for as long as I have, it is really going to open your eyes to what you thought was realistic in the way that news events and price action happen to work. It shows you a lot of evidence otherwise. Just things that, again, that I've picked up over the last 25 years. But then find out that, hey, they've got this whole socioeconomic theory thing. So I've been pretty excited about that. In case you guys haven't heard me talking about it before, right? Oh, sure it is, of course, Hank. It was always known. Russia was going to do that. There was no doubt. There might have been hope that they stuck to the... Oh, yeah, you say there was some hope they might stick to it. But, we don't base things on hope, right? No. It was always expected that Russia would do what they're doing. Now, the question is, how far do they go? That's the question. I don't think that it's any surprise that they sent peacekeeping troops in, right? I don't think it's any surprise that they recognized, the those break-off areas there. But the question is, how far do they go with this now? That's the question. And I don't think that they necessarily go all that far. I think Russia was hoping that its posturing would get would kind of do the work for it, as most nations. This is geopolitics 101, right? This is military 101. It's always about the posturing. The posturing is what you hope works, so you don't actually have to go in. Because anybody that goes to war knows there's a chance you could lose. I mean, heck, the U.S. got its rear end handed to it in Vietnam, right? I'm not saying whether they deserve, whether they needed to be there or not. I'm just saying they went there and they got their rear ends handed to them. So, I think people, again, there's a lot to be said for taking certain types of military history and military planning classes, to really kind of help understand the posturing that goes on in the world. Like I said, I think Putin was hoping to get more out of his posturing than what he got, which was nothing. The West kind of, stood up together against him. I think he was hoping for some break-offs, some non-committals, but everybody kind of came together. Like I said, Ukraine, the people of the Ukraine, the government of Ukraine doing real well. I say the Ukraine, I'm still doing the old school stuff of Ukraine. Doing real well and holding up and, standing together and not really splintering off or whatever. So this makes the whole ideal of what's going on with, for Russia a lot more difficult. So I don't know. I don't think he goes as hard in and does things like people were thinking he might have, say, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So we'll see what goes on there, right? But anyway, Western countries impose financial sanctions on Russia, and Russia adopts Doge as legal tender to get around them, huh? Yeah, that's pretty funny. Gerardo, what's going on, buddy? He says, here I was thinking that $5 gas in Los Angeles was a ceiling. Man, you ought to know that gas prices, there are no ceilings in California, man. You guys, I feel for you guys out there. That's ridiculous. Let me see here. ICG, what's going on? He says, another great read is Ray Dalio's book, The Changing World Order. Great read about the historical way money works. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I agree. I'm not one to normally give a whole bunch, this is definitive and that's what it is about it for most books. But I think he's got quite a bit more right than wrong in there. So he's made a great life doing what he does. So I would always listen to some of the things that he says and, kind of try to get an understanding of that for sure. Let me see here. Oscar thinks that Russia's done for now. They'll just repeat this with another region of Ukraine, install Russians, give away passports to these Ukrainians for security, take next part. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So, again, the response is going to be significant for Russia. And so, there's when I talked about oil prices and whatnot, we're having a pretty warm winter so far. So that takes off some of the the upward pressure on oil prices. And so, again, historically, events like this, are short-lived in the markets. Again, the bigger thing would be the sanctions placed on Russia, because again, they are such a large natural gas and oil exporter. So there could cause a little bit of issue on that, but overall, I think it's all going to be more short-lived than not. It's not going to be some long, drawn-out thing. Again, I do believe that Putin did not get what he was looking for in what he did. So I don't necessarily think he's going to go big or anything in what he's doing here. I think he's looking for potentially a way to change what's happened now, what he's done, and save face. For Putin, it's more about the way that his little circle of people kind of view him, I think, more than the rest of the world. He'd like the rest of the world to be scared of him and to, whatever. But, again, it's him against the world. Now, you can get China on your side. You can get China on his side. That gives him a little extra oomph maybe. But, again, And every time I say this, I feel like, maybe some other people out there that live in Europe or Asia or something are going to think I'm saying it just because I'm in the U.S. But the reality of it is, the U.S. has the most advanced military in the world, right? And we've got lots of partners throughout the world, And so we got boots on freaking every recognized country, 192 recognized countries. It's stupid. It's stupid is what it is. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And so, that's really something difficult to come against, And as long as, the U.S. continues to dominate economically, again, with our importing and exporting everything else, we've got the ability to continue printing, right? I know everybody goes, oh, hyperinflation. No. Again, we've already talked about that. I don't see that coming. But, there's so many moving parts, guys. Most of what these countries do are posturing. Most of what the U.S. and then China has done has been posturing. Most of what, what we're seeing here with Putin is posturing. That's the way they go about it. It's the way the world goes about it. You bluff and you try to make, and you're looking for concessions most of the time. Because those concessions then lead into potentially another move later on. But, again, we'll see what goes on there, right? So we'll see. Travis says he seems to be backing off already. Says he didn't say specifically when troops would be deployed. Okay. Jared the Great says even if there are oil export restrictions from Russia, other countries will buy it and sell it to us. Yeah, I mean, and again, the oil here in the U.S., as we get, I've talked about this before, as we get to that $80, $100 area, all of a sudden fracking becomes, and horizontal drilling becomes feasible again. Remember, I talked about that before. The only reason that we became this huge exporter of oil in the last, over the last decade was because of horizontal drilling and fracking. And, this unlocked all this oil, but it's very expensive to do so. It's one of the most expensive ways to get oil out of the ground. So we need oil here in the U.S., $80 at least $100 or more a barrel to really make it worthwhile and do. And so, we're right there. We're at that now. So, it becomes not too much of a big deal as it was maybe previously, say $50 a barrel, right? Let me see here. I'm just going to pull up that oil rig count real quick as a matter of fact here. Oh, let me find out. Gosh, dog it, where is it? I don't want to pull up the Excel sheet here. We're looking at the Baker Hughes oil rig count in case you guys haven't ever looked at that. Yeah, look at that. Oh, man. Okay. So, let me kind of pull up a tab here just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So, the way you kind of view the health of what's going on with the oil-producing companies here in the U.S. is you take a look at the rig count. Okay, so how many rigs are up and out and how many are sitting in the yards, right? So the idea is that the more rigs, if the rig count, how many rigs are going out of the yards is increasing, then that shows there's more attempts to pull oil out of the ground, which means potentially a healthier oil situation, right? For oil companies. I don't want to sign up for that nonsense. All right. So as you can see here, we had this low down here, 172 rigs down here in, what is that, 8/14 of 2020? Let me see here. And then coming up here, now we've continued to climb here to 520 now. Now you can see back over here at the peak, kind of the peak area was this 2018 area. Toward the end of 2018, we had almost 900 rigs out and up. We're over halfway there now. We've had this steady incline here, which means, again, it's becoming more and more profitable for oil companies to pull oil out of the ground. Centennial itself has already, I think they dropped down. I think at this slump down here, I think they dropped down to about $2 billion. And now they're back up around 17 or 18 billion, I think, on this rise. So yeah, again, oil's running up there, continues to go up. We are actually over, so this was as of February 18th, so this comes out every Friday. So as of last Friday, we had jumped up another 4 over the previous count of, up to 520 over 416. Prior to that, we jumped up there about 19 from 497 up. So what's important to note is that we have this continued rise in there. So, when you look at, okay, what's going on with oil, the fact that oil prices are up more so, the U.S. can actually, companies can pump more out of the ground. Oops. Means that it won't be as big an impact as it could doing that. So just some kind of thoughts on that as far as that all goes there. Let me see here. Let me kind of. Hey, what's going on, Esteban? Good to see you. Let me see here. Kind of catching up. Let's see. All right. So anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking at with that. Yeah. So Hank brings up the fact that it's all about the natural gas. Yeah. That's a big one. Again, Russia being one of the largest exporters of natural gas in the world. But U.S. also happens to be way up there, especially when we're doing that horizontal drilling. And so, we happen to open up quite a bit of that LNG over here. Now, the thing about Russia is it has an easier delivery there to Europe. So, yeah, if you guys just use chimneys with wood and stop using natural gas, you'd be all right, right? I'm kidding. Do your part. No. But seriously, though, that was a joke in case anybody, didn't get that. It was a throwback to the old days of the U.S. during war. When they talk about everybody do your part, and all this silly, individual things they wanted individuals to do, right? Anyway, so that's what we got kind of going on there. If we check out the dollar, it looks like we've got 5 up here and 3 down. So I updated the minimum wave 3 target up here to 96.764, looking for a breakout. I mean, I guess if this is 3 down, then we're looking for a breakout right here above the swing high at 96.108. Really just looking, we really want to see a breakout above this wave B over here at 96.287 to kind of get us going up there. That wave parentheses 3 has a minimum expected target up there at 97.721. And so we just kind of need to continue up, right? Just need to break out here and head up. Obviously, if we're breaking down below wave 2 here at 95.686, that'll carry us below wave 2 over here. And at that point, it would suggest that maybe this is an A here, and this is a B here, and then we've still got wave C of wave parentheses 2 over here to go. I don't think you really start maybe being a bit concerned until you're dropping down below this wave 2 over here at 95.137. I think that's where you maybe really start, thinking a little bit, maybe we might, the top may be in. But it's going to take movement down below that to really kind of confirm that as well. But that's kind of where we're looking. There's nothing going on right here that says anything about a top right now. But yeah. If we were looking for the DXY to break out, then shouldn't be looking for lower BTC. Not necessarily. Again, this is something I've addressed many times before. If Bitcoin is rallying, if it's a risk-off environment, then yes, it adds pressure for Bitcoin to go down. But again, Bitcoin, stocks, whatever, these are all different risky asset classes. They're all risky assets, but they're different classes. And so Bitcoin's thing that it has going for it is that it's not, so it's not legacy, right? So if you see legacy coming down, you tend to short, right? But even legacy, people are looking to buy right now. Bitcoin is so new that it benefits from that newness. So people, they may not want to get into stocks, but they're willing to get into this risky asset, even though it's riskier, because of the huge moves it's made in the past, and they don't want to be left out. And stocks aren't doing them any favors at the moment. So money moves into Bitcoin, right? The dollar has to move to a certain level before everybody, I think, just kind of says, okay, well, everything's off the board, all risk assets. But yeah, so, if the dollar continues to rise, hits that 100 or whatever, continues going up there, then yeah, I would expect Bitcoin to finally go, okay, well, it's time to sell off. And maybe that sends us into a bear market, right? But we're also at that kind of that hyper inflection point I talked about before that the Wells Fargo analyst had mentioned, similar to what happened in dot-com stocks right there, right before the dot-com bubble burst. So we're kind of right around there as well. And so, you remember what happened, right? So it burst, everything came down, and then whoosh, this big, huge thing up, right? And, so the internet and tech stocks or whatever really kind of built in and became this huge thing over the next 20 years, right? So they're kind of arguing the same thing potentially here with Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean that, it has to go straight up from here. We could see that pull back and then finish and head up. So, we've already pulled back well over 50%. So, we've already had a really good pullback. Could have more. But I would never just say, oh, because the dollar's going up, instantly Bitcoin has to go down for the reasons I already mentioned right there. Yeah. Let me see here. T. Boone Pickens. The first billion is the hardest. A little dated, but he addresses this topic exactly. The oil topic, does he? I like T. Boone, man. Old Oklahoma boy. Getting on big with oil and whatnot. He's got a great backstory. I haven't actually read that book, though, so now that you mentioned, I might actually read that. But anyway, yeah, so, kind of here's what we're looking at with the dollar. Here, we'll kind of zoom out a little bit here, give you a little bit bigger picture. There you go right here. Boom, there we go. So, again, just this kind of sideways here. We'll get into the daily. We're just kind of doing some sideways right here. Really, I mean, overall, from back here in November to this low down here in January, to the high up here in January, to, again, the mid-range here where we're at. Let's see. And so, this, again, was that point right here where I said it looks like we probably reversed right there. Came at the beginning of 2021 there. I said, usually your currencies change direction, at the beginning of the year. And that's what happened there. Potentially what may have happened here, but again, until we see that movement down further, there's no reason to say, oh, it's got to go down from there. It's got to go through some levels. You can see that there was a bit of bearish divergence coming up right there to send us back down on the daily here. Weekly is all the way down and oversold here. We're above that weekly pivot. I think your big thing right now for the DXY is as long as we're above this kind of pivot area, I'm not going to say just the pivot, but this weekly demand right here in this wick on the 25th, the week of October 25th of 2021. I think as long as we're in this area or above, we're bullish. I think you drop below that, then you start drawing up a case for potentially making a new low. But even that doesn't guarantee it right there. But I think at that point is when you really start thinking about it potentially from a longer term perspective there. So that's what I'm watching as this continues to go on here. And we'll see if we can get this rally up and out. Let me see here. Oh, okay, Blaze, he was talking about our urgency to converting to renewables. Yeah, okay. He says a few chapters about it. Actually, he was very adamant about conversion to renewables before his passing. Well, again, and you see what's going on over there. I mean, he isn't the only big oil person, talking about it. If you look at the Saudi family over there, they're, again, I think we talked about this a week or two ago. They're looking at selling, shares of Aramco there to bring in cash so that they can put into other things. So their economy, that their wealth isn't just in that Arab economy there, isn't just based on oil. They see it changing in the future as well. So I think you got to be careful. You got to be looking at that kind of stuff for sure on there. Let me see here. I think nuclear is a great option as well. I do. But, nobody wants nuclear in their backyard, right? Nobody wants it in their backyard. I mean, look at what happened with Japan there just a few years back, right? Ugh. Everybody's, fearful of what could go wrong there. And nuclear facilities, at least here in the U.S., aren't very well protected at all. I don't know if you guys know, but it's pretty easy to get into nuclear facilities here in the U.S. So, yeah, it's easy to destabilize. Nobody wants that around them. So, it's always interesting. Nuclear is a good, cheap fuel option. But, of course, again, it's all the what ifs. What if something goes wrong? So, yeah. Let me see here. Hey, Claudio, have a great day, buddy. So, that's kind of what we're looking with that. So if we look at the euro, kind of zoom out here a bit. I got a short-term chart here. It may be that, let me zoom out the 1 hour. There we go. Again, like, the opposite of the DXY, it may have topped out up here. This wave 4, 1, 2 here, maybe a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 coming down here with the minimum expected target of 1.12024. And then just your 3 up there, and then your, well, this is all extra. I'm sorry. Let me get this out of here. Had on this shorter time frame, it had it pulled over to the wall, but the wall moves when you go to the larger time frames. But yeah, so again, if we're following this count here, that wave 3 target right there, wave 5 will get a little bit lower here, probably right into this large candle right here, maybe about this area. It's a lot of inefficiency in that move right there. So we're looking for a breakdown right now. Right here below 1.13147, that'll hint that wave 2 may be complete here. Further breakdown below 1.12926. This is on FXCM. Should add confidence that wave 3 is in progress toward this target down here. Dropping down below 1.12675 is the in this larger count here with this 4. This 4 we've got as a flat. Dropping below that wave 2 right there is going to be the first clue that maybe wave 4, that larger count, is complete. But you need to break down below wave B here, 1.11214, to add confidence to 4, and then 5 being in progress, heading much lower there. So, and 5 should get down below 1.10, which is kind of where we have it. I got 3 right there, so yeah, a little bit below that. But we've got to break down below what's going on here. Now, as far as this range goes right here, volume is all up here, spikes all throughout it. To me, it suggests that we have distribution going on right here. Most often, if you've got reaccumulation or accumulation, your volume drops off precipitously. Like I said, instead, we've got continued spikes of volume all along that same area there throughout that. So while that doesn't guarantee that it's distribution, it's usually that first thing that you can look for in a range that suggests that it's more likely than not at that time. But you need to see that follow through now. What we're going to need to see is larger candle spreads expanding volume as it breaks down here to kind of confirm that distribution they're heading down. Right? Let's see here. So, again, if you're looking at the dollar potentially rising, you should be looking at the euro, dropping down there. So we definitely need to make it through these levels. As you can see, we're kind of sitting, right here below this high volume node. See this high volume node here? We pushed up, got top. We're stuck right in it. So if we can drop on down through here, that puts us below this high volume node, which means that you're going to see a lot more selling pressure come on there. And so that would go with the idea that we want to see larger candle spreads and expanding volume as it drops down, if it were to do that. Right now, it's still finding support here at the 1 hour pivot, so we can't assume that it definitely has to go down. And if we break out above this swing high, there's a chance we may see price rally to this this blue supply structure, the R1 pivot. But you've got to be careful at that point because you're getting pretty close to that invalidation level of wave 2 here. So, yeah, definitely need to see that following through lower there on that. Let me see. What other do we have here? Oh, that was the huge count. Where is my... Trying to find Discord here so I can pull out some charts for you guys. Let me see. So let's look at, as far as stocks go, let's kind of take a look at what's going on with the SPX here, the E-minis. Let's see. So the S&P E-mini, it's been following down as expected. We had that potential double top up here. It hit that, kind of continued down lower. It looks like we've got wave parentheses 3 here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 is getting rejected here. Should come on down to a minimum expected wave 5. Let me see if this is it right here. Yep. Right there around 4186.25. So looking for that maybe to be wave 1 down. That'll take us just below the previous low for the wave of the larger degree there, that wave 1. So this will get us sub wave 1 of wave 1, 2, 3 heading down there. So your rally probably is just going to get up right around this wave 4 area. That's usually our initial target. See here, yeah, see how that's at 50% right there, which is right now the 1 hour pivot, but I don't know, could be by the end of the week. But yeah, so this wave 4 area, kind of this area right here, would be that expected wave 2 target, initial target there. And then we look for it to continue lower off that. Let's see. Let's see what's going on with NASDAQ Composite here. Yeah, that didn't work out very well. I was looking at this maybe being, so we've got this 1, 2 here, and then I was looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I said, but if it doesn't, since this only looks like 3 waves down, so I said if instead of heading back up here, if we continue down lower, then we'll look for a target of the S1 pivot. So basically this would be a 1, 2, and then a 3, and then a 4 as a flat maybe. In this case, it'd be a running flat. So 4 should be right there. And then 5 of 1 coming in down here around that area. Let's see here. That'll give us, again, 50%. The kind of this area right here being the wave 2 target. That's at wave 4 as a running flat there. A, B, C. So it should keep us below the pivot on that. Let me see here. And then we've got the DXY. Nope, we already did that. We've got the Dow. That's what I'm looking for, the Dow. So, the Dow keeps on going here. I had this again as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a 3, 4. We may be headed down to this. This may be like some kind of ending diagonal or something. Maybe ABC is 1, 2, ABC is 3, 4, and then ABC is 5. So we might see that coming down here toward this S2 pivot. It gets us right into this demand structure in the wicks over here of the end of wave 1 over here. So again, right there around that S2 pivot might be where we're headed with that. We started to have some bullish divergence, and then that didn't pick out here. It just continued lower. I'm just trying to see if there's any other way to maybe count that. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you go with again, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 3, and then 4. And then we just have this 5 playing out here, which may end up being an ending diagonal. But again, as with the others, wave 2 should just pull up toward the pivot. wave 4 area here before heading back down on that. So yeah, so there we go with that. Oil, let's take a look at oil. There's oil. Okay, so let's see here. So I've changed the count here because of this rally where it almost invalidated the count here, and I've got this looking as maybe as an A, a B, and then a C as a flat for wave 4. This is something I told Discord that I would be looking for if it continued up like that. By the way, I just closed my Euro position, a few pips profit, just because I don't have time to concentrate on it while I'm doing this with you guys. So it looks like we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, breaking out, R1 pivot's the target, pull back in 3 waves to the pivot, and then you head up. So it looks like we've got a 1, 2 here, which could change our targets up here. If that's a 1, 2 and we fully stretch out, what we normally do, again, you look for wave 3 up here around the 1618, wave 5 up here around the 2.0. We could actually see it heading up further like that. The only thing changes that is if this turns out to be some sort of ending diagonal here. But if this is 1, 2 here and we're getting a nice rally there off the pivot, we could potentially see we'll get up here around 106 at least, 106.24. So yeah. Which is going to give you some upward pressure on the CAD, the Canadian dollar loonie. So, that might give it some bullishness against other pairs out there. So watch it if you're trading that. Let me see here. Gold. Gold. I recently saw a Hearst cycle analysis of gold. And it aligns with what I'm looking at here, and I don't have them. I didn't watch it enough to be able to explain it fully to you. But basically, the idea that there's an 18-month cycle or an 18-week cycle, something like that, right here. But based on this overall movement here, that oil, its cycles sink at the peaks rather than the troughs, and so that would give us this peak here and send it down lower. It tends to be in line with what I'm thinking and the way I look at it with this other way. Now, whether this is, even in my count here, whether this is a 3, 4, and a 5, or as I've mentioned before, maybe this is 1 down and then this is 2 because of the length of this here. Remember, we've been going sideways here since, it's been this kind of level over here since January of 21 to now. So a year we've been moving sideways here. But either way, looking at this potentially being a 3 and a 4 or a 1 and a 2 is a flat here, heading down. But not looking too great at the moment. Again, just printed this doji right here last week. This is the weekly, or this daily chart, yesterday. And then printing this much larger doji right here with price, right there around mid-range, right above where it recently was. It's showing it's having a lot of trouble trying to get up there, and you can see the volume going into it, but getting little to no result right now. So we're going to want to see how this ends today. It's not good if we see a candle ending like that. It doesn't guarantee that it's going to reverse and come down, but when you start seeing the difference in volume here and the lack of real difference in change in terms of the candle spread, it usually just means there's a ton of supply coming in, and it's probably going to head lower. All right. So again, guys, I don't buy the whole narrative that gold is some kind of protector of wealth or whatever. I see it just as another thing to trade day in and day out. And so I think most people would do a lot better, if they did that rather than thinking it's some kind of store of value. But, historically, gold is a shiny yellow metal that people love. So makes them feel rich, I guess. I don't know. So, but for me anyway, in case you don't know yet, now you do. I don't view gold as a store of wealth or anything like that. I think it should just be used for trading. And same thing with silver. Silver looking the same kind of way. There's silver having the same kind of sideways movement, though it much lower on its rally up. So yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's kind of where we're at with things, guys. You know, with the major things that really kind of matter here. I am curious to see where ARK is, though I haven't looked at it recently. Let me see here. Yeah. Remember what I told you? I said we were looking for a reversal here. It's a wave 4 coming down for a wave 5, so there we are. Making its way down here. We might see it build a base in this area here. Generally speaking, if this is wave 4, we'd look for wave 5. Yep. Right here at this where I've got it there. What did I do with that wave 5? Oh, there it is. It's just hidden in there. There it is. Yeah. So looking at you know, maybe some action right here, getting that wave 5 in here, and we might see it do some sideways here, build a kind of range potentially. But yeah, so if you guys followed me along up here, we were up here at around $98 or so when I was talking about it publicly with y'all, talking about the move down to here first and then the move down to here. And so if you did, especially if you're on options, maybe you were maybe you had some puts or something. I mean, or selling some puts along the way. You made a lot of money doing that with what we had going on with that decline there. So that looks good on that. I don't think Facebook is looking too good still. I haven't looked at that in a bit here. Earnings, yeah, that was that big hit to earnings right there. Surprise of 17 cents per share to the downside there. But you know, they're pretty beat up at the moment, guys. You know, you can see again this big spike of volume on that drop there, and then you see again, notice how your average volume here coming along, staying all down here, and then now it's kind of trying to stay up here in this area. So there might be something to be said for that there. In terms of pivots, you know, we're pretty close to the S5, which is usually once you're through the S3, you're usually going to the S5. So we could still have a little bit more downside. Look at that. Look at that weekly there. Whoo. Man. Whoops. Put that in there. Okay. So yeah, not man, that's a big move down right there. But as you can see on the weekly, we're well oversold their Stochh RSI. Monthly, we're almost down there. So I think, guys, you know, again, if you're going to run with options on something like this, I think maybe you give it a chance to maybe push down a little bit farther potentially. But when you see it start rallying up a bit there, then you go ahead and get you some call options because it should fill in this gap here. Should fill in this gap. So, you know, that would potentially be a good play right on that. As always, you know, guys, it's not advice to tell you what you need to do or anything. I'm just saying there's potentially a good play there. You have to know what you're doing with options, guys. You have to understand them. Don't just never have done options before and go, oh, well, Chris said I should be getting call options somewhere in this area, so I need to go do it. No, don't, guys. Don't do something silly like that. Okay? Options will get you poor real fast and in a hurry. I know everybody's been telling you otherwise over the last 2 years, but I'm here to tell you, you can get poor very quickly trading options, okay? So just be sure you know what you're doing with that. But yeah, so it looks like, you know, maybe ABC coming down here, finishing out. Maybe an ABC. Maybe, you know, a 3, a 4, and a 5, and then back up. I don't know. It's a pretty big move down so far. I mean, off that top there, this top was last summer, I believe. Yeah, right at the end of last summer there, September. So you've got this drop off the all-time high of about almost 50% right now. So huge big move down. But you've got this huge base here. You should expect to get some kind of support in this area and give you a bounce. At the very least, a bounce to this area right here. I mean, you know, just a quick look at this, guys. You should expect to get support, you know, at the very least in this area, and rally at least to this area here. Just a big general kind of quick look at the chart. You know, that's what you should be looking for. So somewhere in this area, get a rally at least up into this area, if not up into this upper kind of area here. Whoops. I can't get it. Right about there. So just, that's how I would, look at that chart generally right there. Hey, Michael, feel free to scroll back to the beginning of the show, man. I talked about Bitcoin there. Yeah, a lot of information on it that I talked about. Let me see here. Oh, the poor metaverse. Telluride says. Yeah, isn't Facebook going by Meta now or something like that? I don't know. If you're looking out here at the weekly, looks like you might have a 1 or an A, and then an A, B, or a A, B, C here is a flat. So like a 1 right there, and then a 2 right here. This decline is a 1, 2. Yeah, you may only get a small bounce out of that and come on back down there, at least on the weekly here. Looks like you can get a 1, 2, maybe a 3 and a 4 and a 5 down here. Again, could be an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3 coming down. There's a lot of volume coming in these 2 weekly candles right here. That big one. But look at the difference. This is what's important. All this volume and this very large candle spread here, and the next week, almost the same amount of volume, significantly smaller candle spread. So here, supply is fully in charge. It's gangbusters downward. This week, demand showing up. Now, that doesn't mean it has to reverse right there, but you see how this starts slowing down. You see how your volume starts dropping off because demand's coming up and sucking up all that volume, all that supply that's coming in. This is the kind of thing you want to start looking for a potential reversal or at least a bounce of some sort coming in. All right. So, yeah, I mean, man, things doing what they're doing out there. Indexes continue down, but they look like, again, the indexes look like they may be nearing, a wave 1 down locally anyway to give us some sort of relief on a move back up, which means you'll probably be able to get in on some long plays with some stocks during that. But overall, index is not looking overly healthy. They've got to make some serious movement up to really kind of get them out of this idea that they might have topped already. I think that's probably it, guys. So, yeah. So, Bitcoin thoughts there at the beginning of the show. Talked about the dollar, talked about the Euro USD, talked about gold, talked about ARK, talked about Facebook. What else did we talk about? The indexes, stock indexes. Talked about oil. So, yeah. A lot going on there, guys. We'll see how things continue to play out. But for now, everything seems to be same thing that we're looking at other than Bitcoin, which looks to have made 5 waves up potentially here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an ending diagonal there. And then, of course, potentially looking at this move up and then a little bit move further down here to maybe that 61.8, that's 70.5. And then we'll look for that breakout above that swing high there to say, hey, we're heading up. But we really need to see, guys. We really need to see a breakout above 39,506.91 here on Coinbase. That'll hint that wave 2 is complete. And then a breakout above the 1 hour and 4 hour pivot here, which is basically that larger degree wave 4 resistance right there. That'll be the first real clue that wave 2 is likely complete. But then we need to see a breakout above wave B up here at 44,775 and 96 cents to add confidence to this local count. The idea that 1 and 2 are complete and 3 is in progress up here to a minimum expected target of 57,320, which is just above the pattern target from that 3-month channel. It's about $200 below that. All right, guys. So there you go. I hope you guys have a great day. Y'all trade safe. Remember, the only thing that you control in the market is how much you lose. Stop listening to the Yahoos online. They've got their magic secret way of trading that's going to make you all this money. It's just a bunch of nonsense, guys. They're just trying to get you to buy what they're selling. That's what we do differently. Texas West Capital. We teach you general principles about markets and human behavior, macroeconomics, all that. And then we teach you Elliott Wave. We teach you Wyckoff. We teach you other, systems and whatnot, depending on what tier you happen to join up at. And then, kind of help you move from there. We help you get better. Because not everybody's the same, guys. It's not that Wyckoff is better than Elliott Wave, that's better than, resistance support levels and whatever. That's not, they all work. You've just got to be willing to be honest with yourself and put in the time and effort required to get good at it. Most traders don't do that. And I'll tell you what, crypto Twitter is littered with it. Again, I always refer to 2017. If you guys were around in crypto Twitter in 2017, it was something different every single week, man. Wyckoff. Oh, it's Wyckoff this week. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it's Elliott Wave this way. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it's supply and demand this week. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it's ICP this week. Oh, it doesn't work. It was a ridiculous time, guys. I felt sorry for anybody actually getting in during that time and not knowing anything about trading, because you would have been convinced that TA doesn't work, that that the markets are random, and these are things that it's not. And technical analysis does work. I do it every day. Make a lot of money doing it. So do a lot of other people, guys. All right? So if you want to join us, you can do so over here, texaswestcapital.com. We'd love to have you there. If you do, say hi. Send us a message, man. Let us know you're in. We'd love to see you. We'd love to welcome you. But yeah, we'll see you over in Discord if you do. If not, I'll be back on Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and hopefully you guys will be joining in then as well for the no BS, no fluff segments that we do here. It's none of that. We're not going to get emotional. We're not going to do any of that other nonsense, okay? Because it doesn't help you guys out any. So I hope you guys have a great week. Y'all trade safe and be safe out there. And we'll catch y'all either in Discord or on Friday. Take care.